This is Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. Hey, you guys, how's everybody doing on today? I just want to know how everybody's doing. I mean, me, I'm doing lovely. Just had a hard day of honest work, and got some breaking news today, right? And I know we talked about already Floyd versus Conor McGregor was supposedly maybe happening on August the 26th, right? We released that information, and we talked about that. But now it is official that we're getting Conor versus Mayweather on August the 26th. Now, according to Dana White said this fight will be at 154 pounds. It'll be at T-Mobile Arena. And it's supposed to be a fight like perhaps probably the biggest fight of the year, right? And I think it was more so Floyd taking a shot at Oscar by taking this fight and putting it on August the 26th versus after the Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin fight. And to me, I think that was a smart, beautiful move by Floyd Mayweather, right? I mean, we all know Floyd. Floyd is a businessman. At the end of the day, Floyd is a businessman. And why Floyd is so great, I'm gonna give you a reason why Floyd is so great. Floyd is great because not only did Floyd pick this fight to happen on August the 26th, right? But Floyd was listening. Floyd was listening to him talk about, oh, Floyd is this and Floyd is that, right? And while Floyd was pretty much sitting in the background, knowing the trash talk that Oscar was throwing out there, Floyd didn't let that faze him because Floyd was very smart. Everybody thought the fight was going to be off because Floyd didn't say anything else about it. He was telling, Conor to sign the contract. And we're all thinking, okay, Floyd, Conor signed his side of the contract. Are you going to announce the fight? And we were sitting here waiting on Floyd to announce the fight. And we never got that, right? We were sitting here waiting. But we knew the champ was doing something behind the scenes. And what he was doing behind the scenes was very great. And I think this was probably one of the best, smartest business moves that Floyd Mayweather has ever made. This is going to be perhaps one of the biggest fights in boxing. One of the biggest fights in boxing, right? Even though we got the Gennady Golovkin versus Saul Canelo Alvarez taking place on September 16th, the questions that remain is this going to hurt boxing, right? That's what everybody want to know. Is this going to hurt boxing? Because Floyd made a move, a smart business move, in putting his fight on August the 26th. Now, we know it's some things that Oscar really wasn't proud about because of the Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. But the reason why Oscar was not happy with this was because of the money that was going to be generated. Not only is Floyd pulling from the boxing fan base, but you got Conor McGregor, who is bringing on a big-time fan base from the UFC. And if you're thinking about getting tickets to go to this fight, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. And the reason why it's not going to happen is because guess what? Soon those tickets go on sale, right? When those tickets go on sale, all the MMA fans are going to purchase those tickets. And I know they're going to be going probably, perhaps, I don't know, maybe 500 for like nosebleeds, maybe. Like, those tickets are going to do numbers. They're going to do numbers in this fight alone. And Oscar De La Hoya is not happy about it whatsoever. But Dana White is a smart man. The reason why Dana White remained involved is because he still hold a contract over Conor McGregor, and he's going to see a big payday because Conor McGregor is going to be tuned into the sport. Now, this is why I say that boxing is back, because a lot of people say, well, boxing was dead and boxing was gone. Think about this. You got one of the top UFC fighters in the UFC who wants to come to boxing. Why? Because UFC is not giving them that payday. But if you fight Floyd Mayweather and you know you could get a big payday, guess what? Why not come to the boxing world? So this is big for boxing fans. And that's why I tell a lot of people that, hey, like, boxing is back. Boxing been back. It hasn't been anywhere. The thing is now, all of the top superstars who really want to see a big payday are going to come into the boxing world. And you're going to start seeing now Conor is opening the door for other MMA fighters to now try to make a transition into the boxing world. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, Conor's going to knock Floyd out. Like, no, that's not going to happen. Let's just be real. Let's cut out all the BS, you know, and pipe down for Conor McGregor fans. You really need to pipe down, because even though the champ is 40 years old, but you got to understand he's the greatest of all time in his particular era. Because I know a lot of people are going to raise questions when I say he's the greatest of all time, period. But he's the greatest of all time in his era, and he's the most smartest businessman that's out there. Who else is outsmarting Floyd Mayweather outside of the ring and inside of the ring? 49 have tried, 49 have failed. And right now, Conor McGregor is going to be number 50. Now, a lot of people want to talk about the undercard and all of that. Well, we're not going to get into the undercard yet because they just announced the fight. But it's some things that I do want to talk about that could perhaps be on the undercard. But and then when we talk about that, is you all know who I'm talking about. If you're a boxing fan, is about Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis has been trolling throughout this same time that the announcement of Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor has been announced. Gervonta's been going at it with Tevin Farmer. And so what the IBF is trying to do is put together a mandatory for Gervonta Davis to take on either the winner of Tevin Farmer versus Billy Dibb. But the question is that, are they going to pay step aside money for Billy Dibb for Gervonta and Tevin Farmer to go ahead and fight on the undercard of Mayweather McGregor? If you're a boxing fan, that right there is big, because Gervonta ain't having that. Gervonta already stated on his Instagram that, hey, I'll knock both of y'all out, right? I'm gonna knock both of y'all out, but Billy could take step aside money. We'll pay him to step aside, and I go ahead and knock out Tevin Farmer, and then I'll fight Billy right after that. But Tevin Farmer's make himself seem scary because he's biting his tongue. We all seen in the video, if you go back on my page, when I covered the Gervonta versus Tevin Farmer big scandal that they had or whatever. You would have seen Tevin Farmer, you know, talking trash, saying, you know, can he get an opportunity to get a shot at the title? And you saw what Gervonta had to say. Gervonta said, well, basically, you know, who are you? You got 4 losses. Why should I fight you? But if you want to get this work, you can get this work, right? I'm just paraphrasing. And so then on top of that, the time has come, you know, Gervonta won his fight against Len Washington, UK. Tevin Farmer won his fight via unanimous decision. Now Tevin Farmer doesn't have a fight scheduled. Gervonta don't have a fight scheduled. So Gervonta saying, let's get it on the Mayweather McGregor undercard. But now you got Tevin Farmer sitting here saying, well, I thought you said you wanted me to go and get a title first or whatever. So now you got Tevin Farmer, now that the date that August 26th is 74 days away. You got Tevin Farmer kind of being scary, right? But we all know it's a big fight. But Tevin Farmer saying, well, let me fight Billy first, then I'll fight Gervonta. But why? Why are you fighting Billy when Billy don't even have a title? Y'all just fighting for the mandatory to go against Gervonta. But why fight for the mandatory to go against Gervonta when Gervonta already saying, let's make the fight happen now, Tevin. Let's not be afraid. So that's one big matchup that you will probably see on that undercard, which is going to be great and fantastic. But if we get back to talking about Mayweather McGregor, you already got McGregor trolling on Instagram, and I'm gonna show you guys his Instagram right quick. If I could show you his page. This is Conor McGregor's official Instagram right here, where he's saying the fight is on, and he got a picture of Floyd Mayweather Sr. posted on his Instagram. And now the thing is, even though he got Floyd Mayweather Sr. posted on his Instagram, if a lot of you don't understand why he's saying that, he's saying because Floyd is old. And the reason why Floyd is old is the reason why he believes he's going to defeat Floyd Mayweather. But do I believe that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Like I said, it's a lot that plays into this. Conor McGregor, to me, even though he fights in longer rounds, 3-5-minute rounds, and when you come into the boxing world, it's going to be 3 12-minute. 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds. And the thing is his conditioning going to be good and going up against Floyd Mayweather? And that's the thing. Floyd could easily get a knockout in this fight. A lot of people saying, well, no, Floyd don't possess any knockout power, but Floyd could have easily knocked out Miguel Cotto. If you're a true boxing fan, you would know that when Floyd fought Miguel Cotto, if you go back to the 12th round when they were fighting, Floyd could have easily dropped Cotto, but Floyd didn't want to take any risk, because why take risk when I already have the victory? That's another reason why Floyd Mayweather is smart. But this right here, like I said, it's going to, I believe it's going to kind of hurt boxing fans, because for one, that $100 pay-per-view, right? August the 26th, you pay that $100 pay-per-view, and then you turn around on September the 16th and have to do another $100 pay-per-view for the Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. Now, what sucks is the fact that, a lot of people are going to tune in and buy it. And then at the same time, you got a lot of people who just sit here and troll and talk trash saying, oh, F Mayweather, F McGregor, but they're going to be the ones who are going to buy the fight. Like, all of that trolling and stuff is unnecessary. It is, because at the end of the day, this fight is going to do numbers. And I'm just waiting on the press release for this fight alone to come out, because once the press release comes out, then we will know exactly the details and everything that's involved in the contracts as well. We'll know if there is certain things and certain stipulations in the contract that Conor is going to have to go by, with Floyd being the A side. And it's great that Floyd always, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, Floyd always dictates what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. That's the luxury of him being the A side. Conor McGregor is going to do a great job of hyping this fight up. I'm ready for the press tour, because when the press tour takes on, then that's when you're going to hear a lot of more trash talking from Conor McGregor. More so than anything, you're going to hear a whole lot of trash talking at the press tour. So it's going to be great. Do I believe it's going to be trash talking from Floyd Mayweather? Absolutely. I think this right here is a lot of people saying that, Conor coming from the UFC and after, he fights, who did Floyd fight last? Andre Berto. They were saying Floyd should have gave somebody else an opportunity. But now he's fighting Conor McGregor. And I think because of Conor McGregor's trolling and all the trash talking that he's been doing up to this point, is only going to piss Floyd off and bring out the pretty boy Floyd Mayweather. Not the money May. I believe this last fight number 50, we're going to see pretty boy Floyd come out and do his thing and perhaps really give us a knockout in this fight. Because Conor McGregor, if you all are true fans and you go and watch Conor McGregor fight, just boxing, striking, right? His striking ability, he don't stand a chance. His footwork is not great. It's more so compared to what he does in UFC, but you don't have great footwork to fight the best defensive fighter of all time. Then on top of that, if you go back and just watch Conor fight, Conor keeps his hands down a lot. Whereas in boxing, you have to keep your hands up. So that's what's going to be perhaps one of the biggest issues that Conor is going to have when fighting Floyd Mayweather. Because once he throw a punch, and he loves to put his hands down, then guess what? Floyd is going to counter with 2 or 3 punch combinations. And it's going to be ugly for Conor McGregor. Now, this fight is going to be at 154 pounds, not at 147, which is Floyd Mayweather's original weight. But Floyd has fought at 154 pounds before because he fought Saul Canelo Alvarez at a catch weight of 152, I believe. Floyd weighed in at 152 pounds for that fight. And then we know he hydrated up, to probably 157, 160 maybe in that fight alone. But then Floyd made Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is perhaps pound for pound the number 2 best fighter in the world. He made him look like a C-level fighter. And Floyd, this is what Floyds do. And Conor, in my eyes, he knows this can be a 9-figure payday. And I don't think Conor McGregor has enough in his skill set to defeat Floyd Mayweather when you've never been a boxer. And I want to give a shout out to my boy CJ. He's tuning in right now. He's my coworker, CJ, man. What's going on, bro? How you doing? And those of you who tuning in, drop in a live chat, man. I want to give your thoughts. I want you to give your thoughts on how do you feel about this Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight. Do you think it's going to be a flop? Do you think it's bad for boxing? Do you think it's bad for the UFC? I mean, I want to know. I want to know your thoughts. But and another thing that we're going to talk about as well is pretty much how is everybody feeling about this is funny because I just got an update that just came across my computer. I want to know how everybody feel about having. I'm gonna just throw some names out there for for fight fans. I'm gonna just throw some names. We already talked about Gervonta taking on Tevin Farmer on this undercard, but if we was to get, and a lot of people saying, well, what about Errol Spence and Sean Porter and all of that? I don't think none of them are going to perhaps be on that card. But what if we could get an elimination bout, right, in 147-pound division of Danny Garcia taking on either who else is at the top of 147 that you may want to see Danny face? Because a lot of people saying, well, Danny should go ahead and be fighting Sean Porter. But we know Sean Porter just fought Andre Berto. And so I don't think Sean Porter is going to jump into a fight just yet. But if Danny could go ahead and pick up another fight, from somebody in 147 to where he could, he can make himself noticeable. Because right now nobody's caring about Danny Garcia whatsoever now because Danny lost to Keith Thurman. Or we could get probably, you got the Charlo twins taking on one of the Charlo twins, I believe Jamel, taking on a big mandatory bout on the Mikey Garcia versus Adrian Broner undercard, which puts him in position to fight for the WBC, the winner of Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. So that's going to be an amazing opportunity for the Charlo twin if he's able to get that victory and capture that victory, because he'll be the mandatory for that WBC green belt. Now, I personally, this is what I think personally. I want to see, because a lot of people been, throwing this fight out there, and I actually had an opportunity to interview her, is Kaylee Reese versus Clarissa Shields on the undercard of Mayweather McGregor, right? How awesome would that fight be? Because people been talking about that, and I believe, Kaylee could probably get that payday that she's looking for, being, if she was to go and, talk to Mayweather and probably, sign under the Mayweather banner, because she's been a world champion. Kaylee is a world champion. She was the #1 female boxer in the United States. number 2 in the world. The only fighter who she lost to twice in her career was Christina Hammer, and she dropped Christina Hammer in the first fight. And I believe she could beat Christina Hammer again. You know, I believe she can really challenge Christina Hammer and really be the top woman in female boxing, because right now everybody's building up Clarissa Shields because of what she's done in the Olympics, but not so much of what she's done as a pro. You know, this is about to be her 3rd fight as a pro. And to me, she hasn't fought anybody. She hasn't fought anybody with any competition at all. And they want to pay Kaylee. When I talked to her, and you can go back and listen to that interview, what I did with Kaylee. When I was talking to her, she was telling me like they only wanted to offer her like $4 grand for that fight. And she's a world champion, $4 grand. And then she would have to travel to Detroit to fight Clarissa if that fight were to happen. And I'm like, well, why go through all of that when, you know, you could perhaps be on the biggest undercard, the biggest fight of the year, you know, a la Gennady Golovkin versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. But you could perhaps be on one of the biggest fights of the year with Conor versus McGregor versus Floyd, and you will be on that undercard and you will get a payday. Kaylee Reese versus Clarissa Shields. If you're boxing fans, like, I want you guys to go right now to Mauricio Sulaimon on Twitter and start trolling for this fight. That's gonna be, it's because that fight alone. Hey, my boy CJ said that he think if Conor is going to start losing in that fight, he's gonna throw a leg kick. You know what? I honestly. I was talking about this when I went to the gym with Terry Moss at Buckhead, and I was telling one of the fighters, Abel Abaricio, I was telling Abel, I was like, hey man, because we was talking about, you know, some of the fights or whatnot, and I was like, you know, I'm thinking like if Conor like get caught by like a really good shot by Floyd, and Floyd probably drop him, and you know, and Conor really got knocked down by Floyd like that, I think Conor would do something like while he's on the ground, or probably like foot sweep Floyd or whatever the case may be, and try to throw him in like one of them headlocks or like break his ankle or something. Like something crazy, like something real crazy, to where like he don't even care to get disqualified, because honestly at the end of the day it's an exhibition match. So what is it that Conor is going to lose if he loses this fight? Nothing. He's finna get the biggest payday in his career fighting Floyd. And you think that he cares about, you know, any illegal blow that he may do? I think he may have at least 1 or 2 illegal blows in this fight. And you know, CJ, you're talking about that leg kick. Hell, I'm talking about one of them elbows, like bow. Like, you know how in UFC they throw those elbows too, man. Yeah, or headbutt. And that's crazy. Like if he was to throw a headbutt and hit Floyd with a headbutt, but we seen the last time Floyd got headbutted against Victor Ortiz. We saw what Floyd did to Victor Ortiz, right? Protect yourself at all times. I know y'all remember that. Protect yourself at all times. And Floyd ended up knocking Victor Ortiz out, right? So it's like, don't headbutt Floyd, because once you headbutt Floyd, he blacks out. And when he black out, he's liable to hit you with he don't care if your hands down, if you was, you know, trying to wipe your face because you had some sweat getting your eye. He don't care. It's protect yourself at all times, and you're going to get dropped, right? So like headbutting Floyd, that's one thing that you probably don't want to do with the champ, and that's crazy. If that was to happen, that would be absolutely crazy. But this fight right here, man, like I honestly, I'm rooting for Floyd, because I know 50-0, and a lot of people don't give him credit for nothing that he has done throughout his entire career whatsoever. They don't give him credit at all. They don't appreciate nothing that TBE has done for the sport of boxing. A lot of people say he hurt boxing, but to me, he helped boxing. Because a lot of young kids, you know, that grew up watching boxing, started watching Floyd Mayweather, that they wanted to get in the boxing gym. I know a few fighters right now who are young prospects who are getting ready to start their pro debuts, didn't start watching boxing until they started watching Floyd Mayweather. Floyd has made a very big impact on a lot of young kids, young fighters today. And I'm very appreciative to see him in the ring and for us to watch his greatness. I mean, you can't help but be a fan of what it is that Floyd Mayweather has done for the sport. A lot of people say, well, he didn't fight nobody. Are you serious? I mean, this man, 8 divisions, world champion. I mean, it don't get any better in a resume than Floyd Mayweather's. I mean, he fought everybody from Chino Maidana twice. When Chino Maidana dropped Adrian Broner, beat the brake shoes off of Adrian Broner, Floyd turned right around and fought Marcos Maidana right after that. He fought Saul Canelo Alvarez. He fought Oscar De La Hoya. He fought Shane Mosley. He fought Diego Corrales, Arturo Gatti. I mean, Jose Luis Castillo. He fought him twice. And then if you go back and watch that fight, a lot of people say, oh, well, Floyd was losing that fight. Like, are you serious? If you're a true fan of the sport, you won't be going by no Harold Letterman scorecard. Score the fight for yourself. Go back and watch the fight for yourself. Floyd controlled that whole fight with the jab into the body. Easy work. And he had and after the second round, he hurt his left shoulder, and he still went on to win that fight. But I'm just saying though, a lot of people don't give Floyd his credit. He fought Zab Judah. I mean, come on, the list goes on and on and on. That Floyd done fought all the top competitors in the sport. People say, oh, well, this person was this age and that age and all this, that, and the third. Hey, that don't mean anything. That don't mean anything at all. Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks at what age? And they already knew what Leon Spinks could possess and do to Muhammad Ali. A lot of people want to say, oh, you already know, CJ, man. Thanks for tuning in, bro. But a lot of people say that Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time. How is Muhammad Ali the greatest of all time when he got dropped by a fighter who only had 7 pro fights? He lost to a fighter who only had 7 pro fights. Are you kidding me? But he's the greatest of all time. And Floyd Mayweather, who has fought number of world champions, have never lost whatsoever, and he's now crossing over into the UFC world. He can't help but be the greatest. And I appreciate what it is that Floyd Mayweather has done, not only for the sport of boxing, but for young fighters that's out there who watched Floyd growing up and wanted to, be like Floyd. They wanted to do the shoulder roll. They wanted to learn the shoulder roll. They wanted to learn, how to hit the mitts like Floyd and everything like that. They did. A lot of people don't even want to acknowledge that, but it's the truth. You can't hate it. But August 26th, it is going down. Mayweather versus McGregor. It is going to be a fantastic evening. We're going to be coming back with another video. Oh, and it's something else that I want to say. It's 2 things that I want to say that I want to address here today on Jeremy Sports Network. One is I'm tired of people who hate on other people trying to make a come up, right? And what I mean by that is, you got people out there saying, well, they're not going to do a Mayweather versus McGregor video because of everybody's going to be doing videos and opportunists is going to be doing videos as well. What the fuck you mean by that? Like, I really want to know what you mean by that. Because everybody works hard for what it is that they're trying to do. Some people may not be on the scale of where you are right now, but they're striving to be on that scale. So you have to give them an opportunity. Don't forget, you didn't step into the game being where you are right now. And then you're damn sure not number 1. You can believe that. You might not even be in the top 5. And another thing is that I also wanted to address right here on the channel is fighters today versus the fighters of old. And I'm going to do a video on this. Um, be humble, fighters of today. Be humble because you have to you need to learn the not so much of I don't want to say the politics in boxing, but if you're a young fighter who is growing up and you're in the pro rankings and you're trying to become a great uh, professional in boxing and make this your career, be humble and don't think being humble is not going to get you paid. Anthony Joshua, Errol Spence, those two world champions that I named, and they're very humble. Just be humble. And it's going down July 1st. Definitely Underground Showdown, July 1st in Buckhead. Get your tickets online. Uh, visit buckheadfightclub.com to purchase your tickets online. And it's going to be a fantastic evening for fight fans. So this is Jeremy Sports Network. Just coming to bring you a Mayweather versus McGregor video. We will be live again later on tonight to discuss the Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev 2 rematch. And I'll be giving my thoughts on who I believe is going to win that fight in particular. And we may do a film study. You never know. So this is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. Peace.